Tag show. Tag show. That's gonna leave a mark, Taylor.
That's undisputed because I'm undisputed. Hey everybody, what's going on? It's another episode of the Mixed Tag Show with
Jenna and
Azul. It's been a while since we talked to you guys. There's a lot of holidays, like Father's Day happened. Yeah,
I happen to be on Twitter, by the way, just because you said I'm not really on Twitter, as you're right. But then I see yet again, Blue does something. Shout out to Brian H. Waters and the wrestling.
Yo, see now, that's totally different. I got off work. Listen.
Anybody that listens to this show, Everybody that is, this man has been giving the same excuses for the past whatever.
I have proof. I have statue proof. I got off work. Brian H. Waters went live because of the whole release situation, right? That was last minute on Friday. He went on live. I was watching. It's like, oh, Blue, come and chime in. So I chimed in. Like, it was nothing like it was planned. It wasn't scheduled. Speaking of scheduled, I will be with Public Enemies podcast this Wednesday after AEW. See, putting it out there.
If I didn't say this, you wouldn't have put it out there. But okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. I will tune in.
I gotta put them over. I gotta go because I'm going over there to defend the Young Bucks in AEW against their hatred. That's the funny part of all of this. I just take fun in doing that now. But yeah, that was like totally last minute. I got off work. Like I didn't even we stayed for longer than I wanted to because I had to go pick up my wife from work. I was just like, hey, to chime in. I'm like, all right, let's release this. Let me see something real quick. But yeah, other than that, my week has been, busy getting ready for this honeymoon type of stuff. How about you?
Outside of your honeymoon, something's coming up.
Your birthday.
Ooh. You know how
this is Jenna week.
This is Jenna week till the 5th.
The 7 days of Jenna.
Exactly. We'll be starting today.
Friday.
So yeah.
Oh, you're starting today?
No. I'm starting Thursday. We're starting Thursday. Even though it's my friend's birthday, and he'll be there for the day and then go to LA, but it's technically my trip, so it's my birthday trip. It really is my birthday trip, honestly. It's just that because he's planning on going to LA. And
so why he didn't do Vegas with you guys? Why he just want to go to LA?
I'm gonna slug you into next year. I am going to Tampa this week.
Sorry.
He's going to Tampa
with you guys.
He is. You don't listen.
I know, but why is he leaving for LA though? Like, why didn't he just stay with you guys?
Because motherfuckers are shady. I'm just kidding. Anyway, but he's going to LA on my birthday. So so we're gonna kind of all of us celebrate in Tampa that day. So even though technically it's his birthday, I gave him the reins, to figure out what he wants. Yeah, since it's his actual day. But after that, it's all me. It's all me, son. I rented a boat, so we're gonna do a 2-hour. Yeah, rented a boat for 2 hours.
Wow, I never did a boat in Tampa. I've been in Tampa plenty of times.
Renting a boat for 2 hours. I was like, I want to do something out of the ordinary. And
you're gonna bring what do you do on the boat for 2 hours?
Drink and explore that little area, I guess, that they take you on.
See, I get anxiety around water.
Yeah, I know. And my mom is like, "Oh, be careful." But I mean, it's not like I don't know. It's not like you're venturing out deep into the ocean, right? And it's just like it's a 2-hour thing.
There is something I had to say. Fuck American Airlines. That's what I meant to say. because
Yo,
these
I
guys.
apparently American Airlines is not apparently, but a couple people I know have been having like major issues. Like it was a couple of weeks ago. So
Like
I just hear
on
American Airlines is not the move right
fuck,
now.
fuck American Airlines. On Father's Day, they sent me an email telling me they changed my trip from a nonstop to a stop in Charlotte. Mind you, I have anxiety. That's why I don't do nonstop. And then second of all, that's how luggages get lost when you're trying to travel internationally, and then you have at a stop. So I hit them up like, yo, I bet I pay for a nonstop. Y'all change my flight. I should just move it to JFK. JFK is up right here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a nonstop. Oh no, we can't do that. You only have two options: either get your money back or take what we give you. Basically, I'm like, so you're not trying to accommodate me nowhere. Like I paid extra for a nonstop. Nah, that's your two options. All right, how long does a refund take? 10 days. My trip is 2 weeks away. So if I get this money 10 days from now, that gives me 6 days to book a flight internationally. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Which the closer you get to the date is going to be more expensive,
right,
obviously.
exactly. So I'm like, so that doesn't make sense. So I had to take L. So all week I just been stalking their page until they finally showed a nonstop. I called them like, yo, there's a nonstop from my airport a couple of hours after where I was supposed to be leaving anyway. Can you just switch me to that? Oh, this develop. I'm looking at seats right here. 19 seats. Somebody picked. They bought the spots, but they didn't pick no seats. What? Like, can't put me in that flight. And then I kept calling, and I found a nice lady who just changed my flight with no problem. She's like, yeah, no problem. I got you. Like, even when they said they couldn't give me my money back on the nonstop, I'm like, I bet I paid extra for a nonstop flight. Y'all put me on a stop. Can you at least upgrade my seats? Like, make my money worth it. Nah, we can't do that. Like, I was just like, fuck you. Like, all right, get away.
Right.
It's
See,
just,
I mean, these airlines, I don't know. Like, even just again, like as I mentioned, the reason why I'm not going to money in the bank, or obviously considering it, because one of my best friends, her birthday is the 16th, so obviously I have my obligation to that, and
right.
she's going to Vegas, or we're going to Vegas, and it's just looking, and I've been looking at prices for a minute, and it's just normally, obviously, when it's like well in advance, it's reasonable.
Right.
Nothing has been reasonable, and it's just like, yo, these airlines are like scam artists. I gotta watch my dog because he's gonna start this shit. Yeah, it's just like ridiculous ass prices. What else? And just I don't know. It's just crazy, And I don't understand. Like it doesn't sit well with me. And we were discussing this last week. Like paying like $500, $600 for a flight in the country. Like I can understand, okay, traveling outside the country, but inside the country, that much money, like it made me sick. But I
think
had
that's
to.
what it was. I think that's what it was with my flight too. Like I caught my flight super early because like I like to, I booked our flights back in like March. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So like they're probably looking at like, yo, they paid dumb cheap for this flight. Like I paid $580 per seat.
And that's probably why they did it. I'm listening to you, but I gotta get my dog.
But yeah, like I pay like $580 per seat, right? And the flight that they're changing us to is $2,500 per person right now. I'm looking at them like, what? Why did it jump so high?
Listen, and the thing for me was like, we would have been booked our flights, but the thing is, obviously, I guess we're still in the middle of a pandemic, so we didn't know. So we're gonna see Usher in concert in Vegas, and it's like, right. So, but we didn't know because we bought the tickets last year. Still, when it was heavy into, we didn't know what we would be at this point, right? So if it was at this point, right, I guess we could have still bought the tickets and then just got whatever. But you know what I mean? Like if it would have got canceled, then we would have had to go with the whole thing of canceling the ticket. You know what I mean? So we kind of waited, and when it seemed like it was a go, by then everything was back to normal in regards to prices and flying. So here we are. So, but yeah, it's definitely a scam going on right now with
flying. I ain't going nowhere for a while. Until they make their money back, I ain't going no. That's what it looks like. They trying to get their money back. All right, get your money back. I'll wait.
And I'm still trying to. I still, the goal is to go to whatchamacallit, SummerSlam, but again, Vegas. That's why I was like, everybody was like Vegas, 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 and I'm just like, no, not Vegas.
I'm going to Vegas
But
already, but
exactly, I don't need to go to Vegas again. Plus, the prices are ridiculous. So
yeah,
yeah, but
it'll
yeah,
work itself out.
it will.
So
It
that's our
always
rant.
does.
That's our pre-show rant. We always got to find something to rant about.
Yes, my birthday is Friday. That's the main thing. My birthday is Friday.
And that's the main goal right there. You ready to go
Yes,
into the show?
and his honeymoon. That's fine, but it's the birth
Yeah,
of
1 year anniversary is also Friday.
yeah.
On the show, you take
You
president.
decided, yeah, but you decided you didn't have to do that on my actual birthday. You guys could have did that on the first or
I
the
didn't. We
third.
didn't pick it. We didn't pick it. The pastor did. This is during the pandemic. They're like, all right, this is the slot we have for you to be able to come to the church with 2 people. You forgot. It was circumstances to that.
Oh, well, didn't you sign the marriage certificate on the second?
No. Yeah, because we had to. The pastor has to be there for us to sign it.
Oh, okay, so but the actual ceremony that you
Was the second. Everything was in the same day. They wanted, because of the pandemic, they wanted to do everything the same day to avoid contact and all that stuff. Yeah.
it didn't have to be the second, but that whatever, it's fine.
You think
Love
we wanted
is
to get married
cool.
on a Thursday? On a random Thursday? You thought that's what we wanted to do?
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
First, let's talk about this Eddie Kingston promo. The gist of it is basically it was the end of the show. It was after Jungle Boy versus Kenny Omega. I said I gotta watch this because I heard it was amazing. It was a great Dynamite episode altogether. I was at my aunt's birthday barbecue. But so Eddie Kingston cut a promo at the end of the night. You know how they like to send their fans happy, da-da-da. So in the middle of his promo, he's like, that other channel. He mentions the other channel a few times, and like the other locker room, the heart that we got and stuff like that. People are taking this a little bit, like, to me, too literal. It was like he's not allowed to big up his company in his locker room. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you play sports, I feel like when you're in the locker room getting ready to go into the game, or at halftime when y'all down like 5, nah, show them you got more heart than they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, but people's like, oh, he's shooting on WWE. Why do they always got to shoot on WWE and all that stuff? And it's just like it feels like AEW can't do nothing without being criticized, and it's just a general thing. Like, stands in general on both sides, it's like getting tiring. Like, let's be honest, it's sports. You're allowed to talk about the other competition. Everybody does it.
Here, I disagree because again, you just said they're not allowed to big up their own company. No, you're absolutely right. You can big up your own company, but why? You can big up your own company without talking about the other company, right? It just looks like you're always worried about them. And you talking about in sports and locker rooms. If you listen to basketball players or whatever in their post game interviews or whatever, they don't you never hear players bring up willingly, we're better than this team or we're this, that, and third, unless they're asked. No one asked Eddie Kingston about WWE. It just comes off as you always worried about them. And you shouldn't be, because you guys you doing your thing. WWE does its own thing. There's really no competition at this point. It's just wrestling, in my opinion. There's no need to bring up locker rooms elsewhere. And why? And the thing is, and I'm sorry not to cut you off.
No, you're not sorry saying like that.
My birthday is this Friday. Respect
Go
me.
ahead. Acknowledge you. Okay, go ahead.
Respect me. Anyway, for that matter, why didn't you bring up Impact? Why didn't you bring up why was it specifically WWE?
Well, that's their teammates.
Huh?
That's their teammates. Why would they bring up their teammates?
Nah, it's not really their teammates. Yeah, they work together, but they're still, at the end of the day, why you could have brought up something else. it's not really their teammate. They have a nice little working relationship, but it's just like.
But that's my point. Like they're basically in the same office. It's kind of like the same. It's not the same company, but y'all working together. So it's not like you're gonna create that rub because just like people took it this wrong, they might take that wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, they think they're better than Impact. This is why they're getting buried. Like it's like it's a catch-22. You can't do nothing right. So if you're gonna do it against the competitors. Like they've been doing this for the longest, and I'm pretty sure. Like I said, yeah, superstars and basketball players doesn't say that in interviews, but if you play sports, your coach has always said, go out there and make sure you show got more heart than them. This wasn't on national TV. This was after the show was done. This is just like, and this is why
I get it.
This is when they were sending the fans home, and this is why I say social media hurts wrestling. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of these same stuff was being said during the Monday Night Wars. Granted, this is not a Monday Night War situation, but like. So if they didn't have social media back, then I'm pretty sure we would caught a lot of that going on as well.
Correct. So
both sides.
Yeah, okay, but at the time it was a Monday Night War. This is not a war.
To them, but like to TNT and all them, they feel like to be the number one. When you're on top of the mountain, you feel like you ain't got no competition. When you're not on the top of the mountain, you feel like you gotta take shots at the throne at all times.
So it goes back to what I was just saying, that WWE is constantly on their mind. So it's literally what you're saying.
But the same thing is like New Japan does the same thing, but nobody complain about it. Nobody mentions that. Tama Tonga takes shots all day, every day. Nobody brings that up.
Yeah, but that's New Japan. New Japan is like.
That's what I'm saying, because it's a problem because it's AEW.
But but the thing is with New Japan, it's like. One, it's not an American market. I get it. We watch it, wrestling, whatever, New Japan.
So they should have the least amount of reasons to mention WWE than anybody if they're not in the same market. But nobody bring that up.
I mean, well, listen, like I said, it's again, focus on you. My stance doesn't change. If it's New Japan, if it's Impact, what is the need to bring up WWE? No one says anything. It's not being discussed. Yeah, but then
they're on top of the mountain. You gotta take a shot at the crown. You got to.
From my standpoint, it's like, it looks corny. I don't know. That's just me. It looks corny. And the same thing if WWE sat here and then did the same thing talking about AEW. It's like, for what? For what? Well, especially WWE, because at this point, WWE needs to work on fixing their product than worrying about anybody else. So if I see freaking Drew McIntyre or whoever or Roman, whoever talking about AEW, I'm like, for what? So it's not just because it's an AEW. It's not for me. It's just for what? Just focus on y'all. It's like it's not a war. If we were talking about if this was the '90s and they were literally in direct competition, okay, I hear you. But this is really there's.
That was basically the point of his speech, was like, they don't listen to their fans, we do, and da da da. I just think this is blown out more than it needed to be, and like, to be honest with you, that's just how I felt. I was just like, at this point, we know what AEW is. They like to mention the competition. They're gonna do it whether you like it or not, because why? Their fan base love it. We may not like it, and like I watch AEW. I'm an AEW fan, but I don't keen for it. I don't look for like key. Like they're gonna mention WWE, right? Like I like smart, like funny situations, but at the end of the day, it plays to their fan base. A lot of their fan base like that kind of stuff.
Okay, hey, listen, if that's like you said, it plays to their fan base, cool. I mean, I just feel like, what's the point? But
So another major thing that happened this past week was the releases. We had another rounds of release. This one seemed to be aimed mainly at 205 Live. I heard reports that it's like it was towards older people as well, to try to bring in some new talent and younger talent under 25 that's over 200 pounds and all this other talk.
You bring in new talent just not to use them and then release that.
The people that were released was Tony Nese, Arya Davari, Eva Rise, Breezango, which everybody was surprised by, August Gray, the Bollywood Boys,
Same Brothers, yeah.
Arterio Ruiz, I don't know who that is, I'll be honest with you. Kurt Stallion, remember he was released before, and then he went to AEW and then released some of their information and went back to WWE. So the people thought that he was kind of like a plant. They're like, you want to go to the spy, my dude? Like, that's what you went to go do? I bet. Marina Shafari. That's the one that they released the other one last time, right?
The Four Horsewomen, yeah. I believe so. If
So
I'm not
now,
mistaken.
we're basically not getting the Four Horsemen versus Four Horsewomen no time soon. They
I
just dropped
mean,
the ball. They dropped the ball on that one.
well, not even that they dropped the ball on it, but let's be perfectly honest. Those two other horsewomen just wasn't going to cut it
Right? They never developed.
against Bailey, Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky.
Yeah, and then Ronda never came back.
Yeah, it was just. I mean, it wasn't. I know it was like a pipe dream for a lot of people, but it was just like those two were not going to cut it against. Anyway,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's why I
they
thought it
just
was
left.
always stupid people were talking about it.
Everybody just left Shayna Baszler on lonesome. The rep the name. She still got the like horses in the beginning of her songs and everything. I peeped that this past week. I was like, yo, she still got that? We've been hearing Nia music for so long. I forgot what her music sound like.
Yeah.
And then we had Killian Dane, unfortunately. Like, I feel like they dropped the ball so much on Sanity. That's the other thing we need to talk about. I'm gonna put it in
Nikki
here.
Cross.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because I wanted to say my piece on that. But yeah, like Killian Dane, and then Candice Mobley, which was the black woman writer that they had just hired. They hired two black women writers. She was for Raw, and the other one's for SmackDown, I believe. They're both like comedians. Hers is more edgy comedian like. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if you've seen the interview. Not the interview, but the podcast show she did. So basically, she went on the show of her friend, one of her friends' podcasts, and they talked. They just like he was just congratulating her on getting the job, whatever the case may be. They came up, coming up through the ranks together in comedy, right?
Yeah.
So when you see your peer doing good, you want to big him up, especially what they went through. So he brought up the whole WWE, they being signed with WWE. How did her mom feel? Did she watch the product? Now, when she first got signed, when both of them got signed, I congratulated both of them on Twitter, and then I went to go look through their profile real quick to see, is there wrestling fans? Because I knew that if there were not wrestling fans, that this would be an issue. They would use either one, use them as a scapegoat if the numbers was low, or two, the fans were like, oh, you're not really for the community, so you shouldn't be in that position. Even though most of the writers don't watch wrestling. So I had mentioned that to Sade. I mentioned that to Candice because we was talking about the signings, and then now this on the podcast she said she never watched wrestling before, and when she interviewed, it was not a requirement for her to know the product. They just needed the writer. So she got hired because I guess they liked her stuff. She had experience and stuff like that. And then she was like, it's like, do you watch the current product? She's like, no, I think the current champion is like Bobby Ashley or Bobby Lashley. For me, I felt like she was trying to be funny. Like,
just trying to be funny, yeah.
Right, because she said it in the same breath. If she really didn't remember his name, she would never followed it up, right immediately with the correct name. Or even be in that area. You know what I'm saying? She's like, I think his name is Bobby Ashley or Bobby Lashley. He's with this group called The Hurt Business. And you know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. She was like, at least last year, he was with this group called The Hurt Business. So clearly she's been doing some kind of homework. And she even admitted on the show that she had some friends coming over that actually watched WWE to like kind of study the product. So, but then IWC got hold of the podcast. They stop it at the part where she says she's watching that show that night to learn more about the product. They're like, oh, she's not a fan. She's not a part of the community. Why she's getting hired? And all this backlash led to her getting released. I mean, WWE said that they didn't release because of the fans. It was like more of an internal thing, but it's just like, y'all didn't even give this girl a chance. Like she did this podcast like a couple of days after finding out she got hired. She didn't even start working yet when she was on that podcast, and she said it on the podcast like she didn't start yet. So to me, I felt like if she was white and she was a male, this would not have been a problem. She would have got a chance to redeem herself.
Absolutely, and then this is, I hate to bring up, but prime example, like Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair has said that she didn't watch wrestling before. It was Montez
Right.
put her on and started. People can learn a product, a product.
Right.
Who's to say she wouldn't have, did her research and went back and learned and this and that and the third. You're absolutely right. Look how long you got people like, what is it, Jackson Ryder? I mean, I know she's a writer and he's a wrestler, but it's just like look how long it blatantly takes for WWE to fire piece of shit people.
Yeah.
And when the fans are telling you this, that, and the third, and now all of a sudden with
this,
you listen to the fans for this specific issue, that's corny. And if it wasn't a requirement, and you know what, I'll never forget years ago when I was like interested in possibly wanting to work with WWE, I remember a lot of people would say that they didn't want to hire people that are marks.
Fans in general,
Fans, yeah. So what is it? You want people that know the product or don't know the product? That's not cool. You don't even like. It's so crazy to me. The people that the people that they have employed in WWE aren't from the business or who they bring in. Hell, look at Pat McAfee.
Yeah. The announcers in general.
You have him on commentating on quote unquote the flagship show. He has no wrestling background. He doesn't know anything about wrestling. I'll give it to him. He's doing a really good job. At first I was like, but he's doing a really good job.
Yeah.
But that's the point. You give him a chance. Me, like I said, when he first went his first episode, I was like, this is trash. But I've grown to,
Right. At least he had some practice in NXT. Like it's not like
regardless.
right.
But the point is, he didn't have a wrestling background. He has a football background, right?
Right.
Sports, right? And he's been able to adapt, and because he's been in with the product for a minute. So who's to say, oh girl, it could have been the same thing.
Exactly. And that's
it just goes back to what you said. It's because, if it was a white male or hey, a white woman, whatever the case might be, it would have been, it's no problem. She'll learn it. That's what most jobs do, right? You have to learn. You have to learn what it is that the company you work for. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you get the reason why I didn't say white women is because there's haven't been no known white women writer. You know what I'm saying? Like it's never been known that there's a white woman writer. I feel like it's just been white men that's been writing wrestling for the past 40 years.
I'm just saying in general. I'm just saying in general. So yeah.
But I feel like, and to your point, and that's the same thing I said. Like, think about the people that they bring in to do the commentary. Like the dude they got now on Raw, he came from UFC or something like that. The people that they have backstage, they're not people of wrestling. Like I remember I went to a show one time and we were sitting in the audience and I saw one of my friends from radio. And I'm like, hey, what you doing here? She's like, oh, I'm about to try out to be a backstage announcer for WWE. I'm like, where? I didn't know you watch wrestling. She's like, no, I don't. I'm like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like, but if that's what you are, then that's what you are. You can't like penalize. And they're saying that it's internal, maybe because they had an issue with her doing the podcast. She's new. She's not from this, like, again, from this community. That was on you guys to like, hey, just a heads up, we just hired you. Avoid media, avoid this. This is how we roll. Don't break kayfabe. Don't break the third wall about who, like, you're not knowing about wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like, a guideline would have been appreciated for her to follow. And I'm pretty sure if it was given to her, she would have followed it. So if she didn't, her doing what she did shows that she didn't get that. You know what I'm saying? That list of like, yo, this is what you got to avoid now that you're like employed with the company to get terminated.
Any job you go to, there's do's and don'ts. Like you can't be on social media bad mouthing this, that, and third. So I don't understand how she was set up for failure in that sense.
Right.
That's weird.
It is, and it's just like she didn't even get a chance to work. Like I'm hearing that she was like only employed for like 15 days. Like she didn't even get a chance to do anything. Like, and you guys just let her go like that. And it just to me it was just like, this is what y'all guys wanted, right? This is why IWC flourishes in everything they do. Right. So shout out to her. Hopefully I'm pretty sure she'll land on her feet. And that's the crazy thing too. She's very like conscious about the things that she did comedically. Like she was saying on the podcast that she told her friend to take down the episode that she did, hoping that it didn't interfere with her chances with WWE. You know what I'm saying? Like she knew she really wanted this job. Like, and the guys just like I feel like these guys just snatched it away from her before she even got a chance. It sucks.
I mean, outside of that, what do you think about the releases for like 205 Live?
Nothing pops out at me. Maybe Breezango, maybe Killian Dane. But other than that, everybody on this list is just like, to me, I feel like they were saying that Mark Khan, I think his name is.
Nick Khan?
Nick Khan, sorry. He's like, he takes the full blame for it, and he's like trying to, I guess, budget cuts type situation. And I feel like they just try to gut, 205 Live. I can see a lot of those people just going over to NXT because that's where the cruiserweight title is anyway. And then they just.
But I find that, not to cut you off, but I actually, what's the point then? If you're gonna go back to, isn't that still all WWE payroll money? I'm pretty sure NXT doesn't have a quote unquote a separate budget.
No, they don't. But what I'm saying is like, the people that's left from 205 is gonna go over. You know what I'm saying? Like to NXT, and he's gonna demolish because nobody watches 205 Live. No disrespect to the wrestlers and what they do in the ring, but nobody watches like 205 Live on Friday night after SmackDown. I think that's what they come on. You know what I mean? Like nobody's like looking for it on the network, especially with Peacock. Oh, I got something to say about Peacock too. I spoke to Peacock, and they gave me a kind of an exclusive situation that they're about to do with their platform.
Okay, that's cool. Breaking news. Anyway,
right.
Yeah, but the cruiserweight thing has never worked. They've tried it in the 90s and whatever, and it was a fail. Like, didn't WCW do it too? It's just
WCW did very well with it. WWE never does well with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Cruiserweight Classics was good. Cruiserweight Classics was great. It was great.
Fantastic, but
they never followed up.
Exactly. And it was like, and we were saying, how long have we all been saying, yo, like, all right, no one's watching this. Instead of doing 205 Live, just make it a women's show. People want to watch that because people like women's wrestling, right? And it sucks that a lot of people lose their job, right? Like, it really does suck that people lost their job, but no one was gonna. I feel like that was, I don't want to say a smart move. I felt like it was just like, it was something that had to be done, because now you literally see, if something is not working, we got to dismantle it. Not that people should lose their jobs. I'm not advocating that, but no one's watching 205 Live. We tried when we started this podcast. We tried.
Right. We tried. Yeah. Well, I think it was like, what was it? I feel like with the Cruiserweight Classics, they lost a lot of their core people. And then I said this before. I think I said this on the episode with us. When they gave Enzo the title, it killed the division. Because Pac was doing very well with the title. People was actually liking what he was doing with the title, even though it was giving him crappy merchandise and all that stuff. And he was talking about it on Twitter and was creating a buzz for it. People was watching it, and they was enjoying, like, him and Buddy Murphy matches, and you know what I'm saying? Like, they was watching that. But the moment that Enzo got the title, it was just like, all right, yeah, nah, nobody else is gonna flourish. And then they took it off the main roster TV, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just a mess.
Yeah, you can see. I can see. You can say that, but it did bring eyes. Like, say what you want. Like, I'm not a fan of Enzo. Was a fan of him, or whatever the case might be. But there was just certain superstars that had popularity, and Enzo was one of those people. I understand what you mean in regard maybe the credibility of the wrestlers that was on there, once they put the title on him, but it also put more eyes, I feel like, with people a little bit more focused with the cruiserweight title when Enzo did have it. So again, I'm not an advocate for it or him, but I can see it both ways.
Yeah.
And there was a time at one point that like I felt like 205 was really cooking, even outside of all of that. Like we had Buddy, uh,
Yeah.
Mustafa, or
Yeah. They had a
Mustafa,
nice
sorry,
score.
Cedric Alexander. Like they were putting on some nice matches
Yeah.
with um with those people. And then this is when we were saying like people need to watch 205 live because you really got some people that are out here really performing. Like it was, I want to say, what year is this? The year that we started doing this, I felt like you really had some people.
But you know what happened? They had
What?
put it after SmackDown, so people were tired. Like by the time SmackDown was done, people were too tired to stick around in the audience to watch those matches. Like you got to take kids to school the next day and work the next day. Like I feel like
Which was dumb, yeah.
yeah, like that, like having it come right after SmackDown was not it. I would have preferred them had done it before SmackDown. You know, as people are coming in, filling in the stands, you can see it. You know what I'm saying? Like the building, the buzz, listening to it. But I feel like when they put it after SmackDown, it really hurt it because it was like, yo, I just sat through SmackDown and like Brian H said on when we was talking about the releases, those parents most likely don't watch wrestling. So when they said they brought the kids to watch their favorites, and they seen their favorites on SmackDown. It's like, all right, let's go. Time to go. Like this, but my dad is more wrestling. Like, no, you got school the next day. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that hurts the overall because then you stop the live interaction. But
yeah, and even outside of that, you're absolutely 1,000% correct in regards to when in that point. Also, too, you got to think about it. Again, WWE didn't set them up for success. Like
nope.
now, here's my thing: if how can I bring eyes to 205 Live? So again, a 3-hour show for Raw. Let me sprinkle in a couple of segments and give some like really dope storylines instead of the same thing over and over. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or and it's the same thing with SmackDown. Maybe a small segment here that, and it's like. Then it's like,
Especially during the
okay.
pandemic where everybody was together.
And again, it's just there was multiple ways and come up with a really dope storyline that would have had me like, all right, this is actually dope. Actually, and now that I think about it, I remember they did here and there bring 205 superstars and wrestlers onto the show. They did do
Yeah,
that.
they were
It
changing the
was
ropes and
always,
everything.
yeah, they did do that, but it was not like
This was like 3-4 minutes.
not only it was 3-4 minutes, but there was nothing captivating in regards to, oh shit, what's this? Let me tune into 205 Live to see what's going to continue to happen. So if I got a really good storyline going on with a specific wrestler, I want more. Then that's going to make me want to tune in. That's the whole point. You have to draw us in where I'm going to feel like, yo, not just random matches and changing the ropes like you said. So yes, they did do that. Yeah, they did do that, but it was nothing like captivating where I'm like, yo, let me watch 205 Live. We did it because again, we were starting off the podcast and trying to get as much content and to
info
cover everything. Yeah, but I don't know.
That fell off very fast. Speaking of women shows, I forgot to put that up here. We haven't spoken about this, but Mickie James is putting together all women pay per view. I'm very excited for. I might have to go to St. Louis for this.
Yeah, we didn't get the chance to talk about it. Yeah,
I might have to go to St. Louis for this one. I've never been to St. Louis.
I mean, when is it? When was it supposed to be?
I think it's August 28th or 29th, that weekend of their pay per view weekend. So I think they're having a regular pay per view that 29th, and then the all women's pay per view on the 28th. So it's like a weekend thing for them now.
There's just so much stuff going on.
I think that's what it's supposed to be. It says that August 28th will be an all women's pay per view with Mickie James as executive producer, and then August 29th is the 73rd anniversary pay per view. So it's a big weekend for them.
That's going to be extremely dope. And I remember mentioning this on Twitter the one time that I decided to get on, and it was like, okay, where's the uproar about Mickie James doing
an all women?
No, but you're missing what I'm saying. Where's the uproar? Remember?
Right.
Do you remember a couple weeks ago, prior to that, Sasha Banks was like, I had a dream that she wanted to produce an all women show, and everyone came out the woodworks attacking her, and then a couple of no name women wrestlers, I
Yeah.
think from Shimmer, was like, it's been done before, and it was like Sasha
Just so,
never said she was gonna be the first one to do an all women show. She just had a dream to do an all women show. So shout out to Mickie James that this is what she's getting this opportunity to accomplish. But it just goes back to,
it
again,
shows.
anytime a Black woman wants to do something, is received, it's always criticized.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Mickie James is literally doing what Sasha Banks said she wanted to do, and it's
And everybody
nothing.
open
There were
arms.
open arms. It's not cool. It's not cool how, again, Black women are treated.
And then on top of that, shout out to Sasha Banks on her Emmy nomination.
Is she Emmy nominated? Like, wasn't it just
yeah,
it was?
for
Is it
supporting
Emmy
role.
nominated, or is it that they put a like a submission in for her to be a nominee?
Let me look it up right now. But I think it's an Emmy nomination
When I was
for
looking at it, I felt like it was a
submission.
yeah. Anyway, shout out to her if that's the case, because
Either way, that's true.
no one's doing it like the boss.
Yeah, see,
You know what I
it's
mean?
nominated. It's nominated.
That's what's up. That's dope.
Yeah,
But
been nominated. Has been nominated for Emmy Awards for Outstanding Guest Actress in a Drama Series. That's the official situation.
So then,
But
so I don't want, if when she wins her Emmy, she better be on the main event of SmackDown, the opening segment in between with her Emmy, all of that. I don't want to see none of that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bring no negative light to all the other stuff that's been going on with her this week that they've been trying to place on her. They'll put that evil over here, Ricky Bobby. I don't know if you've seen that part too.
Which part?
When they try to say that she's an anti-vaxxer.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Also this week, I didn't watch SmackDown. You guys know how I stand about that. I haven't told the people why I'm not really big on SmackDown. So while we're doing this fantasy draft with the other podcasts, shout out to all the other podcasts that we're doing this fantasy draft with this season, this tag team, even though we're about to win it.
oh, for sure.
While I was doing the points, I realized that 70% of the show is Roman Reigns.
You did tell me that.
I'm not trying to sit there and watch. Like, shout out to those wrestling girls. They got Roman Reigns, and the bloodline is tight because they should have picked him up when they had a chance and you didn't. Roman averages like 50 points for those wrestling girls without wrestling a match or winning a match every week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's hard to do when you're not in a match. Like, the average points people usually get is around like 20, 15, maybe 30 if it's a title match. This guy averages like 50 to 60 every week.
No, if it's a title match, is well over.
No,
30,
so like the big card is like,
I get what you're saying. I get, yeah.
Like average. But like he averages like 50, 60 just for showing up and talking 4 or 5 times during one show. Closing, opening, that's extra points and all that. Like when I did the points, I seen I'm like, yo, this one point of me watching SmackDown. This is the Roman Reigns show. Like, I don't want to sit there and watch Roman.
Listen, I told I love Roman. I love what they're doing. It's a great story. I will not tell you any. It's a great story. It's a great story that they've done. It's a great reign. No pun intended. I'm here for it. But this is everything that I've been saying to you for the past couple of weeks. It's a 2-hour show, and Roman and the Usos open up the show. Even this week, this past week, Bianca and Cesaro faced off against Seth and Bailey. Good mix. Outside of it could have, but good. But Edge came back, so we'll talk about that. But that was a good match, right? But it didn't open the show, because what opened the show? Roman and Jimmy Uso, right? So it's just like that wasn't needed to set up what you wanted to set up. The mixed tag team match could have opened up the show, and then somewhere down the line to set up Roman speaking to Jimmy on where's Jay, and I spoke to this, that, and the third. And then you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
then on top of that, after like I thought the main event was Jimmy versus Dolph Ziggler. Because now he's main event trying to be main event Jimmy. But after that, it was Roman. And I guess I understand to set up Edge, but all of this, I'm happy for the Usos. Like I love, one of my
right.
favorites of all time. They deserve,
Yeah,
whatever. I would love to see down the line maybe Jimmy and Jay face off. That'd be something
yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
cool, So I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking the storyline, but it does not have to be all in one show.
Yeah, it's
It, it,
nauseating at the point.
it's not. I like that. Okay, they're doing a little thing with Carmella and Liv Morgan. And I guess we can tie this all in because we've been recording for
Almost an
you know
hour. Yeah,
yeah Bianca and Bobby, Bianca and Bailey, like they have a nice feud or whatever, but it's since now you don't have that much women talent, you got to continue to do Bianca
right,
and Bailey, right? So it's just like build up stars so you don't have to have the same thing dominate 2 hour, 3 hour shows.
right. Exactly. So in regards to that, with Edge coming back, I seen that on social media. I was out with the boys, went to the gun range, and G was showing it to me, and I'm
Bang bang.
like, right, I had to take the baby out. You know what I'm saying? A little, had to go test it out real quick. I didn't get a chance to test her out since I got it, so let me take it to the range and see how she bang. Anyway, so G shows it to me. I'm like, the first thing that came to my mind was like, why? Like my man, just you got pinned.
God.
You got pinned. Y'all both got pinned together. Like never been done in a main event pay-per-view. You and Daniel Bryan got pinned on top of each other. Why are you back for another title shot? That's him. I would have been like, yo, all right, you got my man. I'm out. I'm going back to Raw. SmackDown is all you. Like, that was humiliating. Like, why would you go back? And then two, how do you automatically get a title shot again? How? How do you go back to this?
I mean, listen, I'm for the match. I don't know, maybe because of the
It makes no
Concerto. I don't
sense.
know. I don't know. That's why he wanted his revenge. I don't know. I get it. It doesn't make sense, but again, this goes back to what we constantly talk about week after week. It's just like who would be next? I guess we thought maybe Roman and Cena or whatever, but there's really no one that would be like formidable against Roman, and we'd be like, yo, this is what I want to see. So they have
They put
to
themselves in the
go.
corner.
They gotta, as always. So they always gotta go back to the same thing that we've seen. I'm here for it because we should have gotten Roman versus Edge anyway. This is I guess we can bring up the
I
whole
like
thing
Daniel
about.
Bryan. Daniel Bryan deserved his little farewell
I'm not.
stuff.
I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just saying originally it was supposed to
Oh,
be Edge and
storyline
Roman.
wise, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, one quick
Um.
thing about the Bianca. You said the Bianca reign. So I like. This is probably not gonna be a popular opinion, but the Bianca reign to me is hurt by the lack of talent on the roster because ever since Sasha left, she's been dealing with Bailey, and
Are you
that's not.
reading from something? What are you reading?
I'm not reading anything.
You
Well, it sounds
looking down.
like.
It sounded like you were reading something. It was like,
No, 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 no.
oh, so you're
You know me. I
texting.
have
You're
no, no,
texting
no,
and.
no. You know I gotta do stuff with my hands to keep me like occupied when I'm like sitting
Oh,
for too
I
long.
was like, what are you doing? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. I just been like messing with stuff. But yeah, like it seems like to me her reign hasn't been able to really show what she can do, and like I never thought I thought it was kind of early for her to win anyway. And I said this before, and this is why this is the issue that I had was gonna have with it. What is she doing outside of Bailey? So she's gonna be Bailey twice, so now that's gonna diminish Bailey a bit. And then after Bailey, what's gonna happen? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like a rematch at SummerSlam with Sasha when Sasha comes back, if she comes back in time. But it's just like who's
She
on the
coming back.
roster?
I would think she would come back, especially right for live shows. I can't see.
But I think she's so there's a lot of speculations why she's going. I think she's going because she's still shooting for the Matadorian.
I mean, sis has been, when she does post, it she's been hanging out in Florida.
You never know those photo dumps. You know, people they be stashing photos just to keep things secret.
Yeah, but if
Is it
people are
timely?
if people are
Okay,
tagging
okay.
her, like, and even if she was shooting for the Mandalorian, she made it work for when she first did it. So I couldn't see why it wouldn't be the same case now.
No, was she going? Was didn't they shoot while she was like on
When she
her
was shooting, no,
hiatus?
remember, no, when she was shooting, yeah, at one point they kind of quote unquote wrote her off, but she was saying that she was doing Monday Night Raw, which wasn't true. She was doing SmackDown, um, and then flying to LA to record there.
Okay,
So she's done it before, and
okay,
and here's the again live. Hold on, live shows are back on the 16th. You're telling me Sasha Banks is not going to be present for that? You're one of your faces of the company. There's no way in hell she would not be there. I will bet $2 right now.
$2.
Yeah, $2 that she will be there. But we
How you
just
feel about the live shows?
we just went here, there, all over the place. But in regards to Bianca's reign, I mean, it's not her fault because she's
No, it's
she's
not her fault. It's not her fault
no.
at
I
all.
know you say I know you're not saying that, but it's just it kind of goes with Sasha's reign too. You're not you have a not a weak division, but there's not many women in the division.
Yeah, and then you let a lot of people go,
There
which
are a lot
hurts
of
the
people,
division more.
and again, if you're not building up women, if you're not building up people to be the next star, like what they were doing with Bianca, they should have been doing with Liv. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Building Liv up. And whoever else was like, you know what I'm saying, that you had
yeah,
there. So when this next challenger comes, be like, oh, I want to face so and so. Now it looks believable. So I mean, Bianca has all the tools, which is crazy because she was, again, going back to what we said earlier, she wasn't into wrestling, but she's athletic. She sells well. She does great promo. She has great presence. So she's taken to wrestling instantly. And again, it's not her fault that the reign is become
yeah,
this.
yeah,
It's just this is what WWE does. You put
yeah,
your eggs all in one basket, and then you know. But going back to what I was saying in regards to Edge and Roman, since you cut me off and to talk about Bianca's reign. And I guess we can talk about Bobby and Drew. Not Bobby and Drew, but Bobby facing Kofi at Money
yeah.
in the Bank. I find it weird that we have these big matches with Bobby and Kofi and Roman and Edge. This could easily be for SummerSlam.
Yeah, but
You,
you know where we going. You already know where we going for SummerSlam.
no,
You
I
know what?
don't.
You know where we going. You know what?
No,
Because
I don't.
one of the reasons why they're doing all these cuts is because they want to bring back John Cena. They want to bring back The Rock. They want to bring back Brock
No,
Lesnar.
no, 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 no. No, I hear you. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I guess that makes sense. So what you saying for SummerSlam is going to be Bobby
Yeah,
versus Brock,
it has
and
to
then
be with the
Cena
fans
versus
back and
Roman.
everything. With the fans back and everything, that's the main event right there.
Yeah,
And and Roman
you can do
and
Bobby
Roman.
versus Kofi if you really wanted to. That's still be that's if you talk. And I'm not knocking what you're saying. I hear you, but
Right.
if you turn around and said if you gave me a card of Bobby versus Kofi, Edge versus Roman, Sasha versus Bianca, or Bianca, Sasha, Bailey, if they did a triple threat. And then you did, I don't know who would Rhea versus, I don't know. And I hear they're trying to bring back Becky by SummerSlam. Like they're really trying to make SummerSlam
Yeah, Becky's coming
WrestleMania.
back next week, I think. Right? She's making an appearance next week.
Is she? Is it been
Yeah,
confirmed?
yeah, that's what they said. They said that she's gonna make. I think they tweeted it that she'll be making an appearance next week. I think was it on SmackDown though? I think she's making an appearance next week. But the problem with that was that they already had Kofi versus Bobby on Raw, so it's kind of like they're not gonna put no Raw match on a SummerSlam's card
Yeah, but we've seen Drew and Bobby 1,000 times, and again, Kofi hasn't really gotten. I guess this is what he's getting at Money in the Bank, but we were all for Kofi Mania, so I think it would be a formidable feud. And here's another thing: they could be setting up Seth versus Roman versus maybe Edge at SummerSlam because Seth is now saying listen, I was made for
Yeah.
this, and so there could be some.
That was my theory.
What?
Drew's gonna win Money in the Bank and then challenge Roman at SummerSlam. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I feel like Cena's a better fit for that. But the way they're trying to get this man over, I don't know.
I feel like Drew is gonna win Money in the Bank to be honest with you, but I don't know. Go ahead. So we there's still quite a few things that we have to discuss. You had theme matches on Network TV. You wanted to talk about Nikki Cross, and then you said you had some breaking news about Peacock.
I saved the breaking news for last. But we can do these last two right here, the theme matches and then Nikki Cross. So apparently Fox wants WWE to do more theme matches as it terms into tying in their NASCAR situations, the NFL situations.
Oh, like that. I thought you meant theme matches when you said like steel cage matches, ladder matches.
They want more of that too on regular TV, but they want some of USA as well want a lot of more of that on TV, but they also because of the numbers and that stuff like that. But they want them to tie into their network stuff, so we're gonna see a lot more of situations like the Army of the Dead matches and then I'm not a big fan of this. I feel like these networks are having too much control over what's happening now on these products. It's like advertisement everywhere without having advertisement everywhere.
I can only imagine just seeing like these corporate wigs around a corporate table and just giving like the most the most out of touch, corniest ideas.
What about we put the NASCAR on each goalpost? It's not goalpost, they're turnbuckles, whatever you call them. Put a NASCAR on each one.
Exactly. It's such good shit. Like
it's good shit. What if the ropes are made out of tires?
Or something stupid like that. Or let's have
Goodyear. You can put Goodyear all over it.
Exactly. And have a Goodyear blimp like
right.
I don't know.
You do a stadium pay-per-view? Put a blimp in the sky.
So when you said theme match, it's like I'm hella for a ladder match and because again now I'll tune in. Back in the day they used to do that.
I just had an idea. I don't want them to take it. I'm gonna say it anyway. What if they put a ring in the middle of the racetrack and have a race car going around during a match?
The race car is like the lumberjack essentially.
Right. You just have the cars going all the way around the ring and then have the match in the middle.
That is a terrible idea, and I feel like they would take it because it's such a bad idea.
But that's my thing.
He was cracking up too.
Yo, because these networks are killing you. Like I'm thinking about the Army of the Dead. Like when that happened on that pay-per-view, randomly. Like my wife was like, "What the hell is going on?" I'm like, I don't know what's happening right now. I really don't know. And it was done poorly. Like one of the zombies had Calvin Klein like boxes on.
It was so random.
Yeah. It was. I mean, we gotta laugh out of it, I guess.
I didn't laugh. I was just like, "The fuck is this?"
But yeah, they want more of that. They want more of that shit. More of that good shit right there.
That good shit. That's good shit.
Speaking of, Nikki Cross is a superhero. What is your thoughts? Like,
I just like you said, the whole sanity thing.
Yeah.
It just sucks.
They say it's her idea. They say it is her character.
Okay, if it's her idea, cool. But I just feel like It reminds me of Owen Hart. What was it? The blue.
The Basin,
Yeah, that's what that reminds me of. Like, it's just
not
like
Hurricane Hell,
no. Mm,
not Molly
It no,
Holly.
it just yeah. It just seems like okay. WWE is not using me. Um, Let me come up with something like that maybe that might get used or whatever. Like Owen Hart. I don't know. I feel for some of these wrestlers. Like imagine your dream is being a wrestler, and the dream is to work in WWE, and you finally get there, and it's not what you thought it was supposed to be, what it was going to be, right? And yeah,
And
and
her
then
husband got really sister
you're
too.
stuck. You're stuck in. You got a dope character or whatever going for you, but then WWE has can't think of anything for you, so you sit in catering week
Or diminished
and
it.
week or diminish it, just or make it whatever the case may be, week after week after week after week until finally they like let me use you, but we're gonna use you in a stupid silly gimmick, and then but you're still not being used that much. I
Right.
feel for a lot of these wrestlers, and I shout out to Nikki Cross because I was talking. I forgot who I was telling. Um, that she's super, 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 super nice. Like I remember when I went
Yeah.
to Ringside Fest to for Sasha, and Nikki had replaced I think Alexa Bliss or somebody, and from the line I could see like how just genuinely nice she was with people. So it sucks that a lot of good people, who this is their passion and they can't really do much because these writers and Vince and all of them don't have anything for them. So I don't really like the gimmick, but we'll see.
Yeah, like again, they said it's her idea, and it's from what you said. Like she genuinely is this way, so she wanted to create this character. I think she
Mm.
wanted to do it for the kids, and I appreciate that. But like I said on
Unfortunately,
Twitter,
I don't see it working.
I don't see it going anywhere far. Like, have you ever seen a superhero as a champion? Hurricane Helms won the cruiserweight title, yes, but let's be honest. Like his character was like comedic, funny. He worked with The Rock in them. You know what I'm saying? Like they wanted to work with the guy. Nothing against Nikki Cross, but this character is not it for me. I feel like, well, we could be proven wrong because look what happened with Bailey. But like to me, the ball was dropped from Sanity. Like that was such a great
That
group.
was it. That was
So
such
I
a
was,
great
and
group.
then,
She
and then
was,
she
she was, she was,
and she was a
she
fan favorite out of them, all of them. She was the fan
out
favorite.
of
It could have
them,
been,
she was the most. She was the most popular out of. She
and
excelled
it could
in
have
that
turned.
role, perfectly.
They could have turned that into her becoming the leader. You know what I'm saying? Like that could have been like a strong thing to see a woman leading a faction. And
And you remember that?
she
What
had
was
the
that
character
last?
for it.
You remember that last woman standing
Last
match?
woman standing match against Asuka. Like
So it's
I feel
there
like
for Nikki.
right. And it's just like now she's this. And then two, the pairing they did this week was very stupid. So why would you make her tag team with the demon? Somebody's portraying a demon or a possessed person. So now you have a superhero and a possessed person going for a qualifying match. And then it was against Naya and Shayna. But like to me, that pairing didn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Like that didn't do her any justice. Um, it's just I don't know. And that whole Lexa Bliss thing, I'm over it. I'm sorry. Like just throw that in there. Like I'm over it. The
Anyway,
Lily, all of that. I'm done with it.
anyway, I guess we can wrap up the show because, like we said, it's been going on for
Yeah,
forever.
it's a good minute. And I have some breaking news.
So
I don't know
now
if it's so much.
you,
It's not very breaking news, but it's like something that people have been complaining about that they said they're gonna be adding come SummerSlam. So speaking of Peacock, because I was like, hey, what was I complaining about? I was complaining about how if you're in the Peacock app, it can't go into a third so you can continue using your phone. So if you wanted to live tweet during the pay-per-view and you're watching it on your phone, you're just stuck watching it on your phone. You can't go to another apps, at least for Apple. So I was like, they're like, hey, we're fixing that. We're fixing that. They DM'd me. They're like, hey, no, they tweeted like, hey, we're fixing that issue. Any other suggestions, just DM me. Bet. So I went to the DM like, yo, while we're here, how about y'all fix these playback buttons? Because when pay-per-view starts, I don't exactly want to watch from where you guys are leaving off at. I might be a little bit late. you
Did you
know.
mention about being able to record it?
Oh no,
Like,
I didn't mention that part. They're not gonna let you do that. They're not gonna let you do that. They're not. They don't care about the tweets. They're not gonna let you do that. I think ESPN started to do the same thing too. Now you can't record the screen; it goes black. It's a copyright situation. But they're like, hey, come SummerSlam, we hear you. By SummerSlam, the buttons will be there for playback, rewind, and you won't have to start the match directly from where we're streaming it from. So they're still working on the interface for the Peacock and the WWE. So that's the exclusive. Come SummerSlam, you'll be able to rewind it live. You'll be able to watch it from the beginning, even though it started 30 minutes before.
That's not good shit. I think you guys like they were gonna.
That's good shit. People was complaining about that. You know how many people was complaining about the playback buttons?
That like at least when I go to Peacock, let me see WWE Network or something, and then I get to that and not edit it. All the pay-per-views and shows on there, and it's not heavily edited. Get out of here! You wasted.
What? You don't want playback buttons?
I don't care.
So
Sorry.
you don't care. So if you're like 10 minutes late, you're gonna watch for where it's at. You don't start from the beginning.
I think that's what happened with. Matter of fact, Hell in a Cell started later than I expected. I was like, because I thought it was like, the pay-per-view's been starting at 7. It wound up starting at 8, and I was like mad confused about that.
That's confusing altogether. Sometimes it starts at 7, sometimes it starts at 8. I'm like, yo, I don't even know when this thing start anymore. I check in from time to time just to see. But yeah,
anyway,
the playback button is major, yo. I'll be catching it like 30 minutes late. I don't know. I done missed the whole match. Like, no, let me get the playback button. I know y'all feeling me out there.
Right. Anyway, I was just making sure my guns are there. All righty,
I'm down 20 pounds.
Good for you.
Yeah, you see the face slim now.
I see. People's a good word.
Thank you.
Anyway, my birthday is July 2nd. It's this Friday. That's our show.
That's our show.
Thank
you guys for tuning in and listening and watching the Mixed Tag Show with Jenna and Blue. If you want to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, follow us at the Mixed Tag Show. Follow us on our personals at
Miss Jenna Baby BAYBEE or
at Blue Magic Grind. Spell how you sound. We'll probably have. Wait, when is Money in the Bank?
The 16th for the umpteenth time. So we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to try to record something because I'll be going to, again, because your memory sucks, I am going to Vegas. So I will not be in attendance that weekend.
Oh, I gotta talk to you.
I was like, what? All right. We'll do this again.
All right, that's the show.
Thank you. That's the show.
All right.
Right, because you
bang. Yeah. But all right, bye.
Okay.
Tag show.